Hello and welcome to this video. I'm going to try and cover two areas in this one video, if I can go down that route of talking about generalized readings or generalized astrology. And why is it important to have something specific? Now, this has actually been inspired by something that I've seen on some forums recently, and also a couple of other people that I follow have done very similar videos. And I want to try and explain in simplistic language why generalized readings don't really work for you. Mainly because it's in the word generalized. It's an overall picture. So generalized. Right, so let's talk about tarot and astrology. Now, I've heard people saying things like, well, I don't need, on various different forums, I don't need to pay somebody to read tarot card readings for me, or to go to a proper astrologer and give me a reading, because there's lots and lots of people. I mean, there are literally hundreds, if not thousands of people on things like platforms like YouTube and Facebook, etc., that will do a reading for Librans, for the next week. Or the month of something. They will either pull some cards and do a kind of an intuitive reading for Librans, or for Scorpios, or for Capricorns, or for Leos, and I find it quite fascinating how people really can think that applies to them. From the comments that I read, we are talking about generalization, a generalized reading. That's all they are. They're, we can take the qualities, if you like, of the planets at the time, and generally speaking, for the majority of a particular sun sign, like Capricorns or Leos or Pisces or whatever, certain things will apply. But it's generalized. It's a bit like throwing dice, and wanting, like let's just say the specific number of a particular person. For Capricorns, for instance, or for you as a person, is 3. Okay, let's just say it's 3, and somebody's done a reading, okay, for all Capricorns. The likelihood of you coming up with 3 that's going to be specific for you is going to take, it's going to be pretty random. There's going to be a number. I mean, I'm coming up 9. That's 2 9s I've had now. There we go. We've got a 5. We've now got a 7. We've now got a 9 again. So there's 3 9s. Well, that's fine. Then we've got 5 again. We've now got a 6. So this generalized reading, the point I'm trying to make is the same with tarot card readings that people do on there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with astrology, readings and such like on YouTube for each of the star signs. But it's very important to remember that these are generalized. Okay. Now, all the good tarot card readers and astrologers will actually put a caveat to their reading by saying, that the best reading is going to be one that's specialized or specific for you. You may well be a Capricorn. Let's just go back to the astrology one. Somebody may say, well, for Capricorns, for the next month, this is this and this and this and this is going to be happening. Well, the likelihood of that happening or applying to absolutely every single Capricorn, and all the variants, with if anyone's ever had an astrology chart done, there are literally thousands upon thousands of combinations and variance involved in every single person, the time you were born, the location, the the aspects of the planets, and all of those other things. We're talking about real specific data. I can't spell today, which is really quite funny. The difference between a generalized reading and a specific reading, and the same will apply to tarot card readings as well. I mean, a generalized tarot card reading for Capricorns, say, let's just keep staying, or Leos. Somebody will pull some cards and then do a sort of an intuitive reading. Again, we have to keep remembering that it's generalized. It's an umbrella. It's a kind of, this is what could happen. Whether that happens to everybody or not, is where the generalized reading is not an awful lot of good to the majority of people, because really the only people that comment on these videos are the ones that go, oh yeah, that's really what happens. And if they keep following the same person all the time and they keep saying, well, oh yeah, I mean, I've had readings, I've watched videos from people and I go, oh wow, that certainly came true for me last month, but then I may find that next month it had absolutely nothing to do with me at all. But then when I look at my astrology chart specifically, what that generalized reading did was skip over an awful lot of things that were specific, that could have been specific for me, didn't cover, because it's just a generalized reading. And as I say, the good astrologers and the good tarot card readers, or the oracle, people that do these generalized readings every month, I mean, they're good for people to just get a sense of what's going on for their sun sign, in the next month or whatever. But it's not really very specific. And for anyone to really turn around and say, well, I don't actually need to pay for or get a specific reading, because the person that I'm following on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, they're quite happy with that. It's a bit like following the astrology in a newspaper. I find that very much to be the same. You've got one little tiny paragraph about your, or a couple of paragraphs about your sun sign, and these are the things that are going to happen for you. And very often, I would say 80 to 90% of the time are not applicable to the majority of people anyway, because they're not really specific enough. It's like throwing that dice. It could be that out of 1,000 times, that certain numbers come up. There's going to be a pattern of numbers that will come up, and your number could be way down the other end of the scale, and so your generalized reading is not really specific enough. So that's why it is good to find somebody that you can have a specific reading. A tarot card reader, to do a specific reading for somebody, will be connecting to the actually you as a person, and the messages and such, like the intuition and the insights and such like that come through in a tarot card reading or an oracle reading will be specific for you and not anyone else. That's the thing to remember. It's a specific specialized reading, and the same goes for the astrology. The astrology needs to be specific. The actual time you were born, or as good as the date, the location, and then and how that has a bearing on next week, the next year, is going to be very specialized and specific for you. It isn't going to be for a general sun sign. As a reading, just like it is doing a general reading for a specific sun sign, for instance, with tarot cards, because it's going to be very, very generalized. There's nothing to say that, people will continue to go and look for free stuff. I mean, they don't see, I tend to personally find that people don't value specific readings very much. And even when I've done readings for free for people, you know, I do this on several forums at certain times of the, you know, the week, on a certain day at a certain time. There's a window of opportunity where a lot of people will do free readings, and I'm one of those people. You know, that's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with that, because you're getting a specialized reading. You're getting a specific reading for you that's applicable to you, and not, you know, the 1 billion people or the 500 million people around the world with the same star sign as you. You know, so hopefully that's cleared up. You know, these generalized readings that are out on YouTube and Facebook and such like, and the reasons why it's a good idea to have a specific reading. You know, if you like the readings from someone, you will more than likely find, as do I, and so do many other people who do astrology and tarot card, will offer a service, usually at quite, you know, a competitive rate, to you know, provide a specific reading for you. And if you like a particular person and the way that they deliver them, you know, the overall generalized readings, then you know, stick with that person. That's what I'm saying. Stick with that person and invest in yourself to get that specific reading, so that you will have you know, it's not random dice numbers going on. It's specific for you. And as always with these things, it's very good. I always say to people, it's very good. You know, we've got 12 months of the year. It's not really, unless it's, you know, unless there's a reason why you need to have something a bit more often than 1 month a year. I always advise people, you know, to get, you know, a reading done every month if it's about a specific thing. You know, so that you can see the pattern. You can see the pattern then of what's actually happening, you know, and you get a good sense then of something that's a lot more specific to you, rather than it being pretty random and non-specific to you, because it may apply to you 1 month, and then, you know, all of a sudden you get nothing, you know, things have not applied to you, and then something, you know, and it's a little bit haphazard like this. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope I've explained that okay. It's been playing on my mind for quite a little bit of time, and I just wanted to try and document it, as it were, and to, you know, to try and differentiate between the generalized readings that people get, you know, for free, and think that that is specific to them. No, it isn't. It's much better to get a specific reading, a customized reading for you, whether that's tarot or whether that is astrology. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon in another video.